Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
All right, so brothers from Great Millstone, Charlotte, coming back with another Lord willing, edifying lesson to feed the elect of the nation of Israel. And before we get started with this lesson, we want to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Machakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us the truth and that rule well. And peace and salutation to the elect that sat here labored in all truth and sincerity. To you we say shalom.
Shalom.
And as you see the title of the lesson, all right, the days of shining in Babylon is over. All right, and pretty much this lesson was inspired by this video that went viral from the comedian Corey Holcomb, and he was talking about the days of shining are over with America going out of business. Now, for those who are not familiar with what shining means, ultimately, all right, shining is another way, you can say stunting, glossing, Jake pretty much, styling, all right, flexing they possessions, man, mainly their money, jewelry, your substance to make it seem like you're somebody in Babylon, man. All right. Well, those days are over because as we see, all right, Babylon, coming to its end. All right, the money ain't stretching like it used to. Okay, people can't afford to, flex like they've been doing. Instagram was one of the major catalysts that really caused this narcissistic, spirit to where people want to, shit on other people because of the possessions they own. Well, newsflash, all right, everything is pretty much, going out, all right, because with the economy, all right, about to belly up, okay, the mindset of the people is pretty much, through, you know, everything is pointing towards this place being done, but the Lord is attacking that mindset first and foremost when it comes to you proud ass people thinking that y'all are somebody because of your money or whatnot. The Lord's bringing all that to an end. Like Scripture say, pride goes before destruction. Well, and the pride of America is at its peak to the point to where people can't even realize that they're seeing their country, their precious country, bellying up, and you're about to go with it, man.
Uh, this is Job Ayawab chapter 18, and I'm gonna get verse 5, and it says, "Yet the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine." And ultimately, Esau Edom has left hand knowledge, going into his witchcraft. You see, but then also that light is also likened unto. Let me get this definition for light.
Mm-hmm.
In the Hebrew word, it says Awar H216, and it says light of day, light of heavenly luminaries. It says light of lamp, light of life. Then it says light of prosperity. So that prosperity that once was, in America, Babylon, the Great, in various different parts of the world, essentially is being, put down. Also, it says from illumination of concrete luminary in every sense, including lightning, happiness, etc. So that happiness, that prosperity is essentially, being taken away, from the mirth, the money, and just the overall lifestyle. The things that was dainties in America, Babylon the Great, those things are being stripped and removed.
All right. Actually, real quick before we grab that, this is the book of uh, what's that? The mirth. The mirth is going. Oh, here we go. Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 10. It says, actually, let me jump up. Uh, yeah, I started at verse 10. Actually, it's verse 8. It says, "The mirth of tabrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoiceth endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth." Because as we see, there's not many, happy times left here in this place, man. All right, as like I said, dealing with the money. All right, as the money is drying up, all right, people are losing jobs. Okay, there was a report that came out that said that it's more people that has been, laid off or fired than actual jobs left available. So it's a inequality, all right, or a false balance when it comes to people being able to work, you know, because we were seeing, especially during the pandemic, all right, the people couldn't afford to live, all right, just off of one basic income, all right. You
Mm-hmm.
see, people have to work two, three jobs, all right, a gig job on the side hustles and all that just to stay afloat. Well, Esau's coming for all avenues of work, to
Mm-hmm.
where people can't even do that to survive, man. To the point to where you have to choose between, paying bills or eating. all right, paying your rent or your mortgage versus car payment, all right. To the point people are living in their cars, versus having a house because it's more advantageous for them to be able to still get around and have a place to sleep at night, man. You know,
Right.
we see the joy is gone in this place, right? It says the mirth of the tabret ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. And you can see that because look at the state of the people. Are you seeing people in that braggadocious, look at me spirit now? No, man. Everybody's in their car, raging out, crashing out because the society is so bad now, right? It says, "They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it." And hey, the alcohol can't pretty much fix your problem now. The scriptures talk about wine was given to make man's heart merry, man. You know, but now the scriptures it says like give strong drink to them that are ready to die. Well, these people they can't drink their sorrows away anymore, man. All right, it's to the point to where people are literally miserable. All right, and that bottle can't help anymore, man. It says the city of confusion is broken down, every house is shut up, that no man may come in, and you can see that through the economy. All right, like I said, there's no jobs, businesses are closing down. All right, people's livelihoods are being dramatically changed. And the main way we see that right now is with that government shutdown, to where federal workers are not getting paid. What 36 days into the shutdown, which they said was like the longest it has ever been shut down, and there's still no talks or guarantee that it's going to open up anytime soon. All right, and these federal workers are still being forced to work with no promise of a paycheck coming. That's hell, man. Okay, it says the city of confusion is broken down, every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There they crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone, and that's why people are looking for answers. People want to know if things are going to get better. Well, the answer to your question is no. Things are not going to get better. Things are going to continue to get worse because the Lord's plan for Babylon the Great is to destroy this place. So the spirit is being put on these devils to continually make this place more and more hellish for its citizens. All right, look at all this money that they're sending to these different countries like Israel, Argentina, you know, but the American people are suffering because you say you don't have money for SNAP. Yet you're sending billions of dollars to foreign countries that don't give a damn about America. Like Argentina, you send all that money, for what is it, soybeans, and they turned around and made a deal with China, all right, which is one of your biggest adversaries. So that shows you these people don't have an interest in Babylon, man. Yeah, precept.
I had two. It's Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 1. And it says, the burden of Egypt. All right, and that word for burden goes to the Hebrew word mash'ah, and ultimately goes into an utterance, which is chiefly a doom, you see, because it represents a burden, because it's what this place has to look forward to. It has to look forward to everything that has been done in this place. So it says, the burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. All right, and the Lord Yahweh is dispatching his son Yahweh Shai, to essentially come in, and destroy Babylon the Great. It's going to be simultaneous, with the ICBMs.
Right, and it says that the idols shall be moved, and one of the biggest idols that's being moved is this money. Because people worship money. Hey, this money is a talisman that controls the people's mind. That's why your every thought in this place, it revolves around it. All right? The moment you getting paid, you're already allocated what you have to give out to bills. All right, you have to sit there and make life decisions on what you're going to eat, how you're going to be able to sustain yourself to your next paycheck, and so on, man. So these people, their whole MO is just to chase the dollar, chase that bag, man. But we see that is becoming frivolous at this point because there's no money to get. Go ahead.
It says, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. The word for heart is the Hebrew word lab, which is the authority within. So one of the things that made America so-called great was that conglomeration, and everybody coming along, getting along, and et cetera and et cetera. Well, that's being stripped away, because it's civil unrest and divisions. You see that, and then also like you mentioned, the money, so all of that stuff is being stripped away. Also, the entertainment. You know, all of that is being bought low.
Yeah, because a good example of that was a picture that was sent dealing with, I think it was the billboard. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Because it was pretty much going into like the last like 30, 40 something years that there hasn't been a rap song in the top 100, something like
Mhm.
that. You know, I'll try to find it, but go ahead.
Con. This is skipping down to Isaiah 19 and 15. You know, because again, you know, the Lord is essentially, removing the spirit of this place. When you go into that word for Isaiah 19 and 1, it says, "In the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it." You know, it means essentially to dissolve. You know, to waste away. You know, it's no longer it doesn't have any type of eminence and importance as it once was. You know, because that lifestyle that was pushed here, it's not even attainable. It's not affordable.
Nah,
That American dream is just a farce.
it's a thing they call keeping up with the Joneses, and that has been, you know, the snare that Esau has used to keep people in the rat race. This is why social media was a detrimental tool to the people's minds, because you see what another person has, and ultimately you covet it. And so
Hmm.
because you covet it, now you want to get what they have. You want to go where they want. You want to be what they portray on social media, and that was all, you know, forced to keep you, you know, in the rat race, man.
Con. Isaiah 19 and 15, it says, "Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do." And ultimately, you know, it's no jobs out here. You know, land back on your point. Essentially, ain't nobody really got no money like that.
Hmm.
Essentially everything is being replaced with AI and different
Hmm.
machines and stuff like that. And not only that, essentially it ain't no type of again going to the jobs. It's not no type of stimulation that essentially can be produced or made to where it's gonna bring this place back to how it was. Because right now we're in the downfall of this place.
Right, and the current of the American currency is at a standstill.
Hmm.
All right, to the point to where they were saying that, you know, we're about to see the Fed begin to print, you know, them FRNs again, which is going to mess the economy up even more. So that
Hmm.
just goes to show you that it was a system that was built to fail.
Right.
And while you people were chasing monopoly money, you never really understood that this Babylonian money magic was nothing more than, you know, an illusion to think that you had something. But when you go into it, you know, people use this shit to get, you know, like I said, the chains, the different type of jewelry, all right, the flashy clothes, all right. These women, you know, spend, you know, they money on, you know, body enhancement surgeries, you know, different things, the portray their outward man to be this great figure in society. But it shows you that this is a vain life, man. You know, Second Timothy, the third chapter, goes into the mentality of how the people are going to be in the last days. Can we get that real quick, Papa Sean?
God. So Second Timothy chapter 3 and let me see, 2 Timothy 3 and verse 1, it says, "This know also that that in the last days perilous times shall come.
Perilous, bad times, evil times, man. Go ahead.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy."
And that's going into this narcissistic, you know, evil, you know, mindset that the people have adopted here in Babylon, man. Which really, these characteristics that were written about all the characteristics of the devil, so-called white man. You know, that capitalist mindset. You know, go ahead.
Without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High.
Yeah, and they love these worldly possessions more than the Most High. So much so that they're willingly sell their soul, sacrifice family members, sacrifice people that they know, you know, defile themselves for these riches, man. You know, that's why the scriptures tell you know what profit of a man, you know, when he how it go what profit of a man when he sell.
Sells his own soul.
Yeah, you know, because now you have pretty much compromised your integrity. You
Mm.
sell up your balance, roughly paraphrasing, and now you're corrupted to where your spirit is permanently tainted. You know, and the Most High he has no use of you now, man. Okay, so that's how we know at this point these people are willing to crash out over, their so-called shine, man. Not even realizing that the true shine is really the scriptures, man. All right, the knowledge, wisdom, understanding of the scriptures, man. Which we're gonna, get on a little bit later. But the point being, right now, is like you made mention of. Now we see the money drying up, man, and the people are scrambling because now that lifestyle that they've been trying to portray all this time is coming to an end. So now we're going to see, like Corey Holcomb was saying, that days of shining are over. The days of you trying to stunt like you got it, it's done. Because we even see that with the stars of this world, the celebrities of this world. They're not even shining like that no more, man.
Right.
The allure of a celebrity has been watered down to shit. If you got a couple thousand followers on whatever social media app you on, you're not even a celebrity, man. So nobody really is jocking Jay-Z, LeBron, or people who have established themselves as somebody in this world, because now everybody's been put back on that same platform. All right, and like I said, if it came down to it, these people will kill you to try to maintain that image, man. That's why he was saying in the video, if you're gonna do that shit, hey, you gotta keep that thing on you, But that's not gonna save you, because the scripture talk about, blessed is the man that maketh the Most High, his arm and not flesh. Roughly paraphrasing.
Right.
You got something?
I got something quick. This is, wait a second. This is Psalms chapter 20 and verse 7. It says, "Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of our Lord, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, our power." And ultimately, it says some trust in chariots and some trust in horses. Essentially, that goes into some type of warfare. This is spiritual warfare. So you got 2/3 of the day that are essentially confiding in carnal means. Going back to how he said you got to keep that modern day sword on you. But that's ultimately not going to deliver nobody. It says, "But we will remember the name of the Lord our power." I want to get this word for remember, and it says zakar, and it says to call to mind. It says be thought of, be brought to mind. It says to mention. All right. It says to think on. So that's essentially the elect's first thought is the Lord Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Because scriptures say the name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous runneth into it and is safe. So the Lord is ultimately our strength and our defense.
Yeah, he's the one that gives you that true that true shine, man. All right, because we're gonna keep harping on that word, because the true thing that you should be seeking for to make yourself feel complete is the wisdom, because you can have all the jewelry, you can have all the clothes, the substance of this world, but the scriptures talk about the eye is never full. This flesh is a thing J. Cole had made mention of in an interview. The curse of more, because you can have what your heart desires, and the moment you get it, now you want something else, and it's a never-ending vacuum, which is the flesh, which is why the true fulfillment that we sought was the understanding of the Lord, man. And when the Lord gave us that, and we were complete. John 8:32, man. And the Lord set us free from the snare of Babylon, because the way that Babylon was able to keep us in this rat race is through consumerism. All right, that's why when you watch that documentary, How to Sell to a Negro, Esau, broke it down to a science of how they know how to keep the so-called black man's mind captivated in this world by continually giving him the ability to try to act like they're keeping up with the white man, which is why they'll overpay for some bullshit ass name brand, not realizing that the amount of money that it takes to manufacture that is just a fraction of what you're paying for it, man. So a nigga that think he's doing something because he's walking around in some Fendi or some Gucci or whatever luxury name brand, not even realizing it only takes like $5 to $10 to make that shit, man. And a nigga will rob and kill somebody over that same thing, man. But Esau, can't get this wisdom though, man. You got something?
This is Matthew chapter 6, and let me get verse 22. And it says, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light.
Yep.
It says, but if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? And pretty much the point that I wanted to get was, essentially, that's why the scripture tells us to stay focused, to essentially keep our eyes single, on the task at hand, stay on the straight gate, you see, because you mentioned that pretty much the eye is always going to want something, going into, that worldly type of mindset. Those of this world, essentially for those worldly desires, they're going to be destroyed, and that's essentially why it's imperative that we stay focused on the task at hand.
Kai, can you go up part about the treasures of heaven?
Mm-hmm. It's Matthew 6 and verse 19. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal.
Right. So that's what ultimately Jake lust after is the things that's of this world that you're gonna get taken. It's gonna get taken from you. That's why the slogan of the New World Order is you won't own nothing and be happy. So you should be coveting, not even coveting. You should want, all right, incorruptible treasure. Yeah, the Most High can bless you with riches of this world, but I always think back to that Kendrick Lamar line, when he was speaking about Job, and it was like, did he give me all this money to play a joke on me? Because you're gonna lose it. Like, Job lost all his worldly possessions at one point, but the difference between Job and the rest of these people in this world is that Job kept his integrity to the Most High until the end, and the Most High gave everything he had back 100-fold, man. Go ahead.
Matthew 6 and 20, it says, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven,
Mm-hmm.
where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal.
And that's talking about this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, because this is the only thing that Esau, Edom can't take from you, man. All right, because this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is a gift that was given to you from the Heavenly Father, and only He can take it. All right, Esau can he can take your possessions. He can take this body, but once your spirit leaves this body, then you have no more ties to this place, man. He can't take anything else from you, man. All right, and that's why you should covet, the righteousness of the scriptures, the wisdom of the scriptures, because now you understand the true meaning of life. You understand what true riches are, man. With the true riches, start with the wisdom, but then it goes into the true substance, which is why you see why Esau, made this society so vain, because if people understood what true money represented. Abraham had true money. Okay, I'll get that real quick. Speak with it, bro.
I got a precept. This is Ecclesiastes 8 and verse 1. And it says, who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? It says, a man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. I'm reading it again. It says, who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? Essentially, the men that the Lord essentially blessed with the understanding of the scriptures. It says, a man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and essentially, brothers had that glow, that shine, and when you go into the shine, ultimately it's a state of healthiness, because when you're focused on things that ultimately are not important, essentially that represents a disease, a body at dis-ease, that's not at ease. So it says, a man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. Ultimately, those that are essentially got their eye single, they're in a true healthful estate. Whereas those in this world, they don't have any type of stability. They're unhealthy. They're essentially at the most destitute state.
Yeah, because you're on a low vibration, because you're on a beast type of way of thinking. Because a beast, the mentality of a beast is just to reproduce, eat, shit, sleep. It doesn't have any, higher forms of cognition, man. All right, it has no true way of thinking. But the reason why the wisdom, all right, causes us to shine is because we have been touched by the Holy Spirit. All right, we have been given true inspiration. We went into that at the camp on Tuesday. No, it's not. Was that yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about the
Wednesday.
Wednesday, Slucky. About the Yeah, it just left my mind. Um,
Pretty much, we got the light.
yeah, we got the
As
light.
as the world continues to run dry, we essentially shining in the spirit.
Yeah, it was the point I was gonna make. But damn, we'll come back. But the whole point of the wisdom we have animate we've been reanimated. That was it. We've been reanimated. Call it that much more shot to where we have been given life now. So hey, to when you see something, all right, with life, man, it you can see it gleams. It has a shine to it, man. All right, that's why when you see like the plant, like just look at the earth. All right, when you see the vegetation, is at its highest peak. You see the different colors. You see even with the rainbow, the higher the vibrational color, the brighter it is. And that's what the Lord has done with us. He's putting us on a higher vibration than the rest of the people because we have the wisdom. And like it says in Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our time and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is our treasure, roughly paraphrasing. So that by itself what's going to make us, rich in that day, man. Okay, because here it is, like I was saying earlier, knowing carnal riches. You got to know what true riches stand for, which is like it says here in Genesis 13:12. It says, and Abram was very rich in cattle and silver and gold. All right, because those things have substance. All right, you can use that to replicate and extend your riches, man. The stuff that we have in this life, it depreciates, man. There's no true substance in the shit that Jake lusted after: money, cars, clothes. All right, this money ain't backed by shit, man. All right, it's an IOU note really when it comes down to it, man. All right, you have everything else. It gets lesser in value the minute you buy it. The minute you step out the store, man, that shit don't matter no more, man. All right, but this wisdom, the moment we get it, it's going up in value every day because the more and more you invest in this truth, like you was going into earlier, you keeping your eye single and you pushing towards the mark. Hey, you're becoming more valuable by the day. To when it comes down to it, in the end times when all hell breaks loose, you're going to be the most sought after, the most valuable, man in the world at that point, man. A man of wisdom is going to be the highest of value in that time, man. And that's why at the end of the day, that's your focus should be on that, getting this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as you can before this shit goes up, man. All right. So we can go ahead and go to Isaiah 32. Because what the people are going to realize is that this shit is over with, man.
God, this is Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9. It says, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech.
Can I read it again?
God, Isaiah 32 and 9, it says, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters.
Yeah, rise up, you women that are at ease, man. Ultimately, that's going into the nation of Israel as a whole, but we can also apply that to the women of our nation, because all Jake, all right, men and women, all right, they're at ease, man. They're chilling in Babylon, man. Not even realizing that the Lord is putting the warning signals out there that this place is on fire, man. And Jake was like that dog in that meme. When you just sitting in the chair with the fire everywhere, talking about, yeah, it's fine, I'm fine. Not realizing that, bro, you're in danger.
Right.
Go ahead.
Like the frog in the pot.
Right.
Isaiah 32 and 10. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come.
And we've been saying that for how long, man? Since our apostles and elders came on the scene. All right. And what's happening now? We're in those times to where this very prophecy is taking place. Look at the amount of so-called black women that have been fired or now unemployed within the last year or two, man. I think they said over 600,000 women, black women, from DEI to the government shutdown, just period. Now you're the benches is failing. You're seeing that pact that you made with the serpent going back to the garden is being disannulled, man. Okay, you see that you've been beguiled, you've been lied to, and your master, all right, Eazy-E don't need you no more, man. Go ahead.
Tremble, ye women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones, strip you and make you bare,
Mm-hmm.
and gird sackcloth upon your loins.
Right, and what's that going into? Hey, you being humble, you being shamefaced, all right? Because putting on sackcloth that's a form of humility, shame in a way, okay? Because now we weren't never brought here to be put on airs, man. All right. See, Jake forgot we came over here in captivity. Niggas act like, hey, good ship Jesus was a Carnival cruise ship, man. That they thought we came over here to party and live it up. Now the Lord allowed us, all right, to be able to thrive in this captivity, but for the most part, it was never supposed to be a place where you were supposed to enjoy yourself. We're in hell, man. All right, that's why, like it says in Ecclesiastes 7:7, man, oppression maketh a wise man mad. Because when you understand the state that we're in, man, this is not the time to be happy-go-lucky, man. Shit is getting real, and we're starting to see those prophecies that we're reading start to come to fruition in the highest form. Go ahead.
Go down to verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah 32:12. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine.
The teats, the goodies, all right, the benefits. You seen everybody crying because their SNAP got taken away, all right, the Medicare, Medicaid, whatever it is in your city, the all the different government assistance that Esau was giving you to sustain yourself, all that shit's gone, man. And people are out here crashing out behind it, man. Not realizing that if you were smart, you would go to the Lord because He's the one that truly gives you the substance, not Esau. That was it.
Okay.
All right, so from there go to Isaiah 30. Read 1 to 3.
It says Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1. And it says, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me,
Mm-hmm.
and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit.
And what's that talk about, man? You so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans that go outside of the Lord's covering, that look and seek to all these different idols and doctrines and religions, all right, to pretty much, give a reason for you to be able to do your wickedness, man. Because when it comes down to the scriptures, you're held to a standard that you abide by. You can't just do what you want. But see, Christianity, Catholicism, Islam, whatever Egyptology, whatever belief system that you choose, you went that route versus the scriptures, the true understanding of the scriptures, because it gives leeway to let you sin, man. All right, in whatever way that is. Go ahead.
That they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
Yeah, you denied the covenant of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, so that you could go and strengthen the hand of Pharaoh. Because do you not realize that you Jakes are what keep Babylon going? You are the biggest consumers every holiday season. All right, the black dollar has the highest purchasing power, especially among the black women. All right, black women, control, the majority of the debt in the society because they're the easiest to manipulate to spend money. All right, but when it comes down to it, you Jake out here, you give Esau, all right, the praise and the glory over the Lord because this place allows you to do your wickedness, man. All right, let's say America, the land of the free, is the land of the freedom to sin. Go ahead.
Verse 4, for his princes were at Zoan, and his ambassadors came to Hanes.
That was 4.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we did on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, Deuteronomy 32 and 15. Because now we're seeing, that what's the word I want to use? Pretty much now things are being, called out through the Spirit, for lack of better words. Because your pride, all right, has now been come into question to where now you're going to have to report for all your actions against the Lord, man. Because see, the Lord, like I said, He brought us over here and He sustained us to keep us to where we was going to be able to be able to survive. But as you know, our people are prosperous people. So whatever we put our hand to, man, we make great at whatever we do, whether in righteousness or wickedness. But see, Jake has gotten proud because now, all this time over here, you've been able to make something of yourself. All right, you see all these Jake millionaires and billionaires, niggas forgot about the Lord. So here it is. The prophets are coming out here, tell you to remember the Lord and come back unto Him. And Jake don't want. Jake don't want to. All right. And there's going to be a penalty for that. Man. Go ahead.
This is Deuteronomy Dabaryam chapter 32 and verse 15. It says, "But Yasharwan waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxing fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook the Most High which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation."
Yeah, Jake shitted on y'all about Shem Yahushua. If you didn't think that the Lord was the one that kept us afloat. He's the one that sustained us. He's the one that clothed and fed us. You know. Could you get Ezekiel 16, and we're gonna read verses 8 down to 18? Because when you really sit and think about what the Lord did for us, man, we owe the Lord everything. Okay, because He put the Spirit on Esau to nourish us, man. All right, he's the one that allowed Jake, all right, to make something of himself over here in our captivity. Because what we saw versus early American days and chattel slavery compared to now, Esau, could have just did away with Jake as a whole, but the Spirit of the Lord sustained us. Because when you look back at our forefathers, we constantly, reminded the Lord of the covenant that He made with us, that He was going to, be with us and make us great. Because, hey, we're an extension of Him, so the Lord had to continue to keep His name alive through us, man. Go ahead.
So Ezekiel 16, what?
Verses 8 to 18.
Okay. This is Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 8. It says, "Now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love, and I spread my skirt over thee and covered thy nakedness. Yea, I swear unto thee and enter into a covenant with thee, saith the Lord power, and thou becamest mine."
Right. So this is the Lord pretty much talking to Israel, and it's like a reminder of what He did for us, man. All right. So when you look at this, picture this as a woman that you took under your wing, you made her yours, and then just look at the poetry and how the Lord compared us to a woman. Go ahead.
"Then washed I thee with water, yea, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil."
And He cleaned us up, anointed us. He sanctified us, put His name on us. Go ahead.
"I clothed thee also with broidered work, and shod thee with badger skin, and I girded thee about with fine linen, and I covered thee with silk. I decked thee also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon thy hands, and a chain on thy neck. And I put a jewel on thine forehead, and earrings in thine ears, and a beautiful crown upon thine head. Thus was thou decked with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen, and silk embroidered work. Thou didst eat fine flour and honey and oil, and thou was exceeding beautiful, and thou didst prosper into a kingdom."
Hey, the Most High, made us beautiful, man. Hey, He decked us out, gave us the best of the best, man. That's like a woman, you buy her all of the designer clothes, give her the gold jewelry, pay for her hair, get her nails did, and you make her bad, and as you want to show her off to the world. All right, that's yours, right? And that's what the Lord did with Israel, man. Okay, that's why when you read the great accomplishments that we accomplished, that was through the Lord's arm, man. Go ahead.
"And thy renown went forth among the heathen for thy beauty, for it was perfect through my comeliness, which I have put upon thee, saith the Lord power."
Yeah, that reputation went out. Those Israelites, man, like those God's people, man. Hey, they are a flourishing nation. Just like, hey, when you have a woman that's bad, she's walking, you like, yo, that's so and so's woman, man. Yo, that dude, hey, he got a bad one. Go ahead.
"But thou didst trust in thine own beauty, and playedst the harlot because of thy renown, and pouredst out thy fornications on everyone that passed by. His it was."
Yeah, you got proud. You began to pretty much forget the one that pretty much brought you up. Okay, and you got, like you said earlier, when you read the whole chapter, the Lord took pretty much the woman off the streets and beautified her, man. All right, poured into her, made her somebody, man. All right, and that's that went to to her head to where now she thinks of herself too highly to where she feels like she don't need her man no more, man. Which is what we see our nation, especially our women of our nation, in that mindset today, to where they're so high up in their mind, because they have all the amenities of this world. They feel like they don't need anybody else. They shitted on their man, all right, just as Israel as a nation shitted on the Lord because we thought we could do it on our own, man. Go ahead.
And of thy garments thou didst take, and deckest thy high places with diverse colors, and platest the harlot thereupon. The like thing shall not come, neither shall it be so.
Yeah, they wanted to be in the streets, you know. And they thought the streets, they thought outside was better than being, under the wing of the Lord, man. All right, so now they playing the whore, wanting to go worship other gods, wanting to see, all right, how the other women work. And it's like you got, just continually using the comparison of a woman. All right, you have a woman who have whole friends, and so she's with you, and her whole friends are constantly trying to get her to come out to the club with him. Man, fuck that dude. He's keeping you down. Come out with us. And so she's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go out with them. Now they got her being a whore just like them, man. So that's the same thing as essentially happened to Israel, man. Israel saw the other nations prospering and wanted to be like them. That's to start worshiping their gods. All right, they saw, like the Hamites. All right, they saw they had a king. We want a king. All right, they saw they was decked out and everything through their idol worship. They wanted to do the same thing. So Israel forsook the Lord and forgot everything that He did for us and made us great. All right, decked us out, and they wanted to go follow the heathen ways, man. And the Lord threw us out. Go ahead.
Thou hast also taken thy fair jewels of my gold and of my silver, which I had given thee, and madest to thyself images of men, and didst commit whoredom with them, and tookest thy broidered garments, and coverest them, and thou hast set mine oil and mine incense before them.
That was verse, what was that?
18.
I'll read it again.
Okay. Ezekiel 16 and 18. And tookest thy broidered garments, and coverest them, and thou hast set mine oil and mine incense before them. My meat also, which I gave thee, fine flour and oil, and honey wherewith I fed thee, thou hast even set it before them for a sweet savor, and thus it was, said the Lord power.
Yeah, so now our people took what the Lord gave us and now began to give that to the heathen, all right? And those same sacrifices that we once were doing for the Lord, our people began to, sacrifice to the heathen. And this is why at the end of the day, the Lord, got angry with our people and put us away, all right? But we're at a point in time now to where the Lord is about to, go do that on a whole other level to where He's going to completely get rid of those that refuse to come back unto Him, man, all right? It's not going to be any more, baby come back spirit to where you ask for forgiveness. And look, if this time when that warning is going out, those of our people that refuse to repent, hey, the Lord is just going to wipe you off the earth, man. It's not going to be no more begging to come back just for years later down the line to pretty much renege and go back into that era is done. This is why this is the last captivity. All right, before the Lord, makes us perfect. All right. That was the point. That was really the point of that one. So we'll get Job 28 and 12. Because now we're at a point to where, like I said, the true wisdom, all right, which is what is going to make you, all right, that desirable, man in that time, man. That ultimately is showing you what you should be thriving after, man. Okay, because like I keep saying it, the days of shining is over here. The days of you trying to make yourself be somebody, that's all done. Because this society is almost over, man. All right, Babylon is closing down. Flash business sale, man. Everything must go. That's the point in time we're at, man. All right. So now, with that being said, hey, you gotta hoard up as much of this wisdom while it's still available, man. All right.
This is Job 28 and verse 12. It says, "But where shall wisdom be found, and where is the place of understanding?"
Now, and the precept to show you where wisdom is found is Proverbs, the 1st chapter. Wisdom, crieth out in the streets, in the chief place of concourse, man. All right, the churches that the Lord has set up throughout the four corners of the earth, where you got the men of the Lord out there prophesying, giving you the true breakdown and understanding of the scripture. That's where true wisdom is found, man. Go ahead, and if you're not able to go out there on the physical highway, you got the digital highway through the internet, like it says in Psalms 119, that you can get the wisdom from, man. But it's out there for those that's able to receive it. Go ahead.
Man knoweth not the price thereof, neither is it found in the land of the living.
Yeah, because people take for granted what they think is gonna always be here. All right, but when it comes down to it, this truth is time sensitive, man. All right, which means that it's not gonna always be available. All right, what we see us doing right now is this is about to be done away with very soon. All right, we ain't gonna be out here on the highways or on the internet doing these lessons and videos much longer, man. All right, so this is why at the end of the day, these people don't realize of what they're letting go right by them, man. You know, if you were wise, you would get all this. All right, you would get you would spend your day getting this wisdom. All right, and then we all remember, when we first came into the truth, how when we first heard this wisdom, we wanted to get all of it as much as we can. Your whole day, you just getting videos, and over time, all right, you begin to balance yourself out to where like I said, how much you can get, and then you handle your other business, man. But we're at a point to where this is the only thing you should be concerned with, man. Go ahead.
Verse 14. The depth saith, it is not in me, and the sea saith, it is not with me. It cannot be gotten. It cannot be gotten for gold, neither shall silver be weighed for the price thereof.
Mm-hmm.
It cannot be valued with the gold. It cannot be valued with the gold of Ophir, with the precious onyx, or of the sapphire.
Mm-hmm.
The gold and the crystal cannot equal it, and the exchange of it shall not be for jewels of fine gold.
Mm-hmm.
Nor mention shall be made of coral or of pearls, for the price of wisdom is above rubies.
Showing you that this wisdom is uncomparable to any other thing in this world. All right, the gold, silver, the precious stones, substance, none of that compares to wisdom, which is why this should be the most sought after thing that you should want. Because just let me end it with this. This is Isaiah 13:12. It says, "I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wares of Ophir," and not just any man. That man is talking about a man of wisdom, the man of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Because we're going to be, Lord willing, we're of that number. All right, the beacons of light, the Lord is going to use to pretty much, guide the rest of the elect unto, that salvation, that highway, So, right now it may seem like, we're looked over, because we are, but it's fine, because when it's all said and done, man, everybody's going to be trying to, seek you out in that time. All right, family members that put you off when you try to tell them the truth, friends or women or whatnot, when they see this shit really go like we said it was going to, people are going to be trying to seek you out in that day, but it's going to be to no avail, because the Spirit of the Lord don't want you to have it. You're not going to have it. And the Lord's He's going to hide us, man. All right. So, like I said, your value is good. It's increasing by the day. The darker this place gets, the more we shine. All right. The more, our stock is rising, because we're the only one that can truly tell you what's going on through prophecy, man. Yeah, precept.
Wow.
But that's pretty much it. So Lord willing, this lesson wasn't all over the place. But, at the end of the day, we pray with edifying. So with that, we want to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rachahakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us His truth and that rule well. A peace and salutation to the elect. Until next time, we say Shalom.
Shalom.